Hello! I'm Elaine, and I'm a tour guide in the French Quarter. I do ghost tours. And I am not going to tell you the stories that I tell on my tour, because you gotta pay for those. But if you want to hear some interesting things that have happened to me while I'm leading random drunk people around the French Quarter, I got you. So, usually the week after Mardi Gras is a really calm week. But this year it hasn't been. It's been surprisingly busy even in the first couple of days of Lent. And that meant that all of our usual calm down period hasn't happened, and all the guides are still a little bit hoarse, and all the guides are still a little bit exhausted 2 weeks after Mardi Gras. And a couple days ago I had a tour that it was just not the way I wanted to start a tour. My voice was already a bit sketchy before I started, and it ended up being very loud at the first stop. Because I get to the first stop, which is in Jackson Square, which is always a spot with a bit of loudness, and you're often trying to figure out should I be closer to this brass band or closer to that drum circle? Should I move down here away from that couple fighting, or should I will that take me too close to the reggae artist or whatever? But this night, I thought I had a good spot. I parked dead in the center of my usual spot and started my story. And yeah, we'd walked over, and there was a guy standing there with a fridge. Now, this was a mini fridge, not full size, but not one of those little mini fridges that are $20 that you get for a dorm room. This was the half size fridges that you get if you have a really small apartment and don't have room for a full size fridge. And he's standing there with a sign on it that says, "Fridge, $20. And I'm like, that's actually a good price. But the problem is, you don't sell fridges in Jackson Square. Yes, there are people that live in the quarter, but generally speaking, they aren't the people who are going to buy fridges off the side of the road. And the majority of people buying shit off the side of the road in the quarter are tourists. And you know who's not going to buy a $20 fridge from you? Tourists. So that was just a little bit odd, and I will admit the guy gave very heavy "I've been doing too many drugs" vibes, but he's fine, whatever, he's selling a fridge. And I start my story, and I'm trying to just tell my story, and at that moment, the dude decides that this is not working, so he decides to leave Jackson Square. The problem is, this fridge is not on a dolly or a cart or anything, it's just sat on the ground. And if you've ever tried to lift one of those fridges, you know, they ain't light. So he can't get it off the ground, so he's just walking it. Rocking it to one side, rocking it to the other, back and forth, behind me, for the entire 7 minutes of my first stop. And every now and then he has to stop and just rest for a minute, during which time he's almost consistently yelling, "Go around! Don't walk into me! I'm right here! Go around!" And meanwhile, I'm trying my best to tell people about horrific executions that happen there, and my guests are just laughing their asses off. One of them gets out her phone and is filming this guy just walking a fridge past all the tarot card readers, past the artists, past the musicians, all across the flagstones of Jackson Square. So yeah, if you want my advice, if you need to sell a fridge, maybe try the calmer, more residential neighborhoods. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and feel free to share your own experiences in the comments below.